Hello and welcome to another analysis behind the news. A year ago, UK voters shocked the world by indicating that they had had enough of being in the European Union and wanted out. Brexit, as it was known, marked the first step in a long process of extracting the four countries of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland from the politically and economically integrated grasp of the European Union. Negotiations to leave the EU just started last week. Globalists that push the economic and political integration of countries into regional bodies have decried the Brexit move and are following its progress very closely. One such group is the Council on Foreign Relations. What we have observed over the course of many decades is that the unassuming CFR has had its members dominate the cabinets of presidential administrations. So no matter which political party is in power, the globalist agenda of ever-expanding government is being fulfilled, especially the fulfillment of what our founding fathers deemed entangling alliances. The globalist agenda is to see sovereignty being siphoned off to regional blocs or international bodies of government that would report to a world government body. Globalists were very successful in seeing the once independent countries of Europe being amassed under the superstate that is now the European Union. So getting back to the Council on Foreign Relations, many times what the organization details in its monthly publications, Foreign Affairs, ends up becoming foreign policy for the United States, given the CFR's reach in the federal government, Congress, and the media. Early globalists used World War II as an excuse to implement integration. Jean Monnet, considered one of the founding fathers of the European Union, attacked sovereignty during the war, claiming that there will be no peace in Europe if the states rebuild themselves on the basis of national sovereignty. The countries of Europe are not strong enough individually to be able to guarantee prosperity and social development for their peoples. The states of Europe must therefore form a federation or a European entity that would make them into a common economic unit. Now, notice what is being said here. He's advocating government being the driving force to deliver prosperity and social development. He was also quoted as having said, "There is no future for the people of Europe other than in union." Kind of flies in the face of individualism, doesn't it? Now, CFR member Strobe Talbot, who was the Deputy Secretary of State under President Bill Clinton, wrote in the New York Times in 2014, "The Eurozone may over time find ways to replicate the American government's reliance on the Federal Reserve and the Treasury to back the dollar, while the larger European Union maintains and deepens the common market, even as it develops shared defense and security policies." The progression toward a United States of Europe was the real Monnet plan. Now that Europe has learned the hard way that it needs to follow the Monnet method of bolstering integration with institutions, the plan may be back on track. Again, that's 2014. Now last week, the CFR's Foreign Affairs wrote, "For better or worse, integration has historically been driven by elites and not by European demos or populace. In the absence of a European demos, integration can fail when its elite advocates give up or misfire. This is what happened last year in the United Kingdom," he's talking about Brexit, "and what European leaders must avoid if the EU is to survive long enough to reform itself." Now, notice that the recurring word throughout here is integration. Now, why should Americans care about this? Because the CFR also wrote in a backgrounder called NAFTA's Economic Impact that in January of this year, that NAFTA fundamentally reshaped North American economic relations, driving an unprecedented integration between Canada and the United States developed economies and Mexico, a developing country. Did you catch that? Integration between Canada and the U.S. and Mexico. The U.S. Trade Representative for the Trump administration is a CFR member who has triggered the process of renegotiating NAFTA. His name is Robert Lighthizer. Trump has already been convinced to renegotiate instead of pulling us out of NAFTA altogether. So what do you think Mr. Lighthizer means when he says that NAFTA will be modernized and will update U.S. approaches to address the challenges faced by U.S. consumers, businesses, farmers, ranchers, and workers in an increasingly global economy? Given the CFR's track record, we know that that won't translate to America first. So just as those in the UK realized a year ago that they are better off without the shackles of globalism, let's work to take off the shackles of NAFTA to stop the formation of a globalist North American Union. The John Birch Society has a solid history of exposing and stopping the globalist agenda. Our Get Us Out of NAFTA Action project is off to a roaring start. Just this week we have released a 12-minute video of a PowerPoint presentation that gives a detailed overview of the threats Americans face through a modernized NAFTA and what you can do about it. Go to jbs.org/NAFTA for the video link. And be sure to get a copy of our latest issue of the New American magazine titled Don't Renegotiate NAFTA, Get Us Out. Buy this in bulk and give other concerned Americans a copy. And to be the most effective, we invite you to join the John Birch Society. Members receive many more tools to benefit their activism growth and leadership possibilities. If you're not yet a member, visit jbs.org for your options. And be sure to like and share this video with family and friends. Sign up for our news updates and subscribe to our social media channels. Until next time, we'll see you then.